So welcome to our CRA meeting. Meetings are public and you can join us however you feel. The first thing on our agenda is comments to the board. Again, written comments can be submitted to CRA offices by mail at PO Box 145476 or email or the 24-hour phone line. I mentioned those all at the beginning of the previous meeting. So this is general comment to the CRA board on any items related to CRA. Let's see. We will take comments in person or on Zoom. Scott Corpany is the staff member that will moderate the Zoom and message you with any questions about your registration. Excuse me. And Taylor Hill is the staff member who will be calling the names of those who wish to comment based on the order in which we receive the names. If you're on Zoom, you may unmute your mic when Taylor calls your name. If you're here in person, just come to the podium to give your comment. Taylor, let's go ahead and start with our first general comment.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We have two people registered to speak. The first will be Neil Amundsen, followed by Elaine Dagogren. Neil is here in person.
My name is Neil Amundsen. I live in Cotton Heights. I'm an Air Force veteran, commercial pilot, air traffic controller, and the sole owner-operator of Absolute Flight LLC. My business has operated in the Salt Lake City area for 5 years and resided at the South Valley Regional Airport since 2021. The non-towered SVR airport has supported my business operations well until recently. January 31st, 2025, I received a lease termination notice from the Salt Lake City Department of Airports. There was no advance warning of such notice, or to my knowledge, any outstanding lease or operating concerns from airport management that required resolution. As the basis for termination, the SLCDA cited 2 outstanding permit violations and 2 operating safety violations. These allegations are absolutely false. For gross negligence, the SLCDA ignored 11 emails, 80% of the total emails I sent them over the course of 18 months, and further failed to record my approved aeronautical services permit in their system. This mistake on their end is well documented via a grammar request. Moreover, the general statement by SLCDA are defamatory. Their refusal to have dialogue with myself to resolve any misperceptions is discriminatory and directly impacts the financial status of my business. In sum, their abrupt lease termination and allegations are arbitrary and capricious, in addition to a complete disregard of the constitutional right of due process. While I'm actively pursuing other hangar facilities in the area, such a move is not able to be done quickly or without business impairment. All local airports have on average a 5-year waiting list for new hangar tenants. At this time, despite the unfairness and defamation, I have not initiated legal action against any parties. I have provided a cover letter submitted to the FAA Airport District Office in an attempt to get the FAA to address these concerns, as well as the timeline of my communication regarding my original permit request through the SLCDA. Permits issued from the SLCDA have a clause that states all permits and leases can be terminated at any time, but it is unprecedented to weaponize the system to leverage personal bias. The SLCDA has disregarded much of the guidance in the FAA Airport Compliance Manual regarding my situation and lacks accountability for their behavior.
That's time.
Is a hot topic. It should not be used or misrepresented to further an agenda in the personal.
You can send us the rest of your comments through, we have your letter here. I'll also just mention this comment is related to the Department of Airports, which is a part of the city. So this is, right now we're in the CRA meeting. So the opportunity to comment on things related to the city will be May 20th at 7 p.m. meeting. Taylor, you said there was one more commenter?
Yes, next will be Elaine Dagogren. Elaine, you may now unmute.
Elaine, are you here?
Looks like they may be having some technical difficulties, so I will troubleshoot.
All right.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Oh, is that you, Elaine?
It is. Did I push the wrong button?
You need to mute whatever's making noise in your room.
Nothing.
If you're connected on two devices, you need to mute one of them.
Pardon me?
If you are connected on two devices, just make sure one is muted.
And then all your speakers need to be off. Elaine, are you still there?
Muted and I.
Elaine, just because we're having technical difficulties, I'll just ask that you submit your comments in writing or by email or phone. Again, it's P.O. Box 145476, Salt Lake City, Utah 84114,
Hold on.
council.comments@slc.gov,
Need to be a lot.
or 801-535-7654. We can't understand anything that you're saying. So please submit that way and then join us again at the next CRA meeting. Or at the council meeting on May 20th for any council-related items. All right, let's close the public comment period. We do not have any public hearings. So that brings us to section C, Community Reinvestment Agency Business. And the first item is approval of the minutes. And I need a motion to approve minutes from January 21st, 2025, March 18th, 2025, and March 25th, 2025.
So move.
Second.
Okay, motion from Councilmember Pui, second from Board Member Pui, and second from Board Member Petro. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. The next item is CRA Budget Amendment number 2 for fiscal year 2024 through 2025. The board is going to receive a briefing about, well, I'll let the council or the staff members. Kate Warrett, Council Policy Analyst. Mary Beth Thompson, CFO, and Greg Cleary are here as long. Nope, that's not who's here. But Kate is here.
Yes.
All right, go ahead.
Great, thank you. Every year at this time of the year, you have a true-up amendment for the budget for the Community Reinvestment Agency. So this is the last budget amendment you will see for them. And what this does is it takes the conservative tax increment estimates that they have made during the budget process, and it trues them up with what the actuals were that have been received from the county. Those usually come in about March. There is a public hearing and potential action scheduled for this item on June 10th. So that's what the future is looking like for this. We're going to look at revenues, expenses, and an accounting error that happened on the county side as we go through items today. So if we can go ahead and pull up page 2 of the City Council staff report, that'd be great. We'll start off with looking at revenues that came in. So there are two main revenue sources that we'll look at today. Property tax increment that comes in from currently, well, for this budget, 11 project areas. The Depot District expired in 2024 because we're on a fiscal year. Some of those revenues are included here, but that will not be part of the next fiscal year budget unless there's interest revenue there. If you look at the second from the right column, you can see the difference in between what was proposed to be the budget and then what was actually received within their proposed budget amendment 2. You can see that it's pretty close across the board with those, except for Yeah, we're on the wrong slide. Scott, if you wouldn't mind pulling up page 2 of the City Council staff report. City Council staff report.
Maybe rather than pulling it up, if the board just wants to reference page 2. Oh, there we go.
Yep, it's in your staff report, I promise. It's the only table in there. But what you'll see in there is that in the central business district, that had a decrease from what was anticipated. The northwest quadrant had a larger than anticipated tax increment amount received. Oh, there we go. The items in red were the ones that were projected to be more than they actually came in at. Those in black were projected to be at less. So those are the positive items that came in. If you want to go to that interest rate table now, Scott, that would be great. It's on page 10 of the administrative transmittal. What you see here is that the CRA received about $4.88 million more than they expected. The CRA budgets interest based on the interest earned in the prior year in order to better align actual earnings with what is coming in. This helps. There we go. This helps with making sure that expectations line with reality and helps them with their projections over time. Another revenue item that isn't shown in a table here is for the State Street project area, the property tax increment portion for the county. They were supposed to start paying this fiscal year, and they did not pay this portion of the tax increment. Per the interlocal agreement, they were supposed to start in tax year 2024. The CRA has amended their budget to make this a zero and included additional revenues in the fiscal year 26 budget to address that discrepancy. So that is another amendment to the revenues that you'll see in this amendment. On the expenses side, there's a few different categories of expenses that are impacted when this true-up occurs. There are legally required and discretionary items. We'll go through the legally required items first. Of those, we have payments to taxing entities, tax increment reimbursement agreements, affordable housing set-asides, and then there's also debt and other contractual obligations. So with the legally required items, the CRA is a pass-through for a tax increment to several different taxing entities. This amount decreased by about $420,000 due to the changes in the tax increment that was received. For tax increment reimbursement agreements, because of where those are located in the different project areas, it increased by about $350,000. And the affordable housing set aside increased by about $330,000. With respect to debt and other contractual obligations, Scott, if you want to go to page 16 of the administrative transmittal, the top table. There we go. Perfect. What we see here is the debt and other contractual obligations that the CRA needs to amend due to the amount of tax increment that was actually received. If you go to the bottom table on the same page, Scott, if you want to slide down. Perfect. This shows the discretionary items that have been amended due to the amount of tax increment that was received. You'll notice that these include transition holding accounts in fiscal year 25. The CRA created, at the direction of the CRA board, transition holding accounts to manage surplus revenue not earmarked for obligated expenses. The CRA carries funds from this fiscal year to the next fiscal year in order to make the budget process easier as this budget amendment comes in at about the same time or the same time, every year that you are doing your budget for next year, it just makes it easier to plan those, how to use those funds in the upcoming year. The next item, the last item that is included in this budget amendment is an accounting error associated with the library. In the project areas where there is no interlocal agreement or participation for the Salt Lake City Library within the project area, the county inadvertently gave the CRA the tax increment that the library had acquired. So it totals about $1.8 million, and this budget amendment allows the CRA to, using other revenue and other expenses, transfer this money directly to the library and allow them to continue with their operations. That is the end of the items here. When it comes to policy questions, the CBD has experienced quite a decrease, about $2.4 million in tax increment over the year, or an 8.7% decrease. That may be an item where you want to consider how you'd like to look at that in the future. And with that, I'll turn it over to the CRA.
Great. No, jump on in, Jen, please. I was just going to say thank you, Kate, for that summary. We don't, I think, really have much to add. I'll ask Erin if she wants to jump in. But the purpose of this budget amendment, as Kate said, is really just the truing up of the actual increment we receive. Most of the obligations and expenses that are tied to that get adjusted as a function of either our legal obligations or state statutory requirements. And as much as we try to make these pretty standardized every year, I think every year we have some curveball thrown at us. And this year it was some discrepancies with the county in terms of their allocations and then their disbursement of funds. Beyond that, I think we've absorbed a few other accounting issues within this in terms of percent for art payments as well as a loan payoff, and then adjustments of our admin fees and expenses that, again, all pull from the project areas either by a percentage or by some other balancing. So we don't have anything to add to what Kate said. We're happy to answer any questions. Erin, unless you can think of anything else we need to highlight.
Nope, you got it all.
Okay, board members? All right. All right. So that item will be public hearing next month, at which time we'll look for adopting that, right? Okay, great. Board members, I'm going to ask for a motion to enter closed session. And then we will continue with our scheduled public agenda items after the closed session. It's for real estate purchase, lease, or sale, and advice of counsel.
Mr. Chair, I move that we go into closed session for the purpose of discussing acquisition of property and for the advice of acquisition or disposition of property and advice of counsel.
Second.
Okay, the motion is by Board Member Wharton and second by Board Member Lopez Chavez. Any discussion? Board Member Pui?
Yes.
Lopez Chavez?
Aye.
Dugan?
Yes.
Wharton?
Yes.
Petro?
Yes.
Young?
Aye.
And I'm an aye. That passes unanimously. We are entering closed session. If you're not invited to be part of the closed session, please step in the hallway and wait while we go through these items, and then we will be back as soon as we're done. Okay, we're back in public session. We're on item number 3, which is to discuss straw polls regarding the 9-line community reinvestment area. Danny, do you want to go through those? I have Lauren and Austin on my names agenda.
Mr. Chair, I don't think we have anything else to add to this. We're happy to answer any other questions, but this is the straw poll vote for 2 property acquisitions within the 9-line area and allocating funds from strategic intervention where they are originally allocated property acquisition is one of the authorized uses. This is just coming back to you as a board and actually allocating those to a specific project and acquisition. So
Okay, great.
happy
And
to
then-
answer any questions.
For the benefit of the public, this is not a budget amendment. It's actually budgeted money to be used for the purpose budgeted, but just authorization to,
Correct.
what do we call it? Release of the funds? Okay, great. I
Release of the
need a
funds.
straw poll for that.
Mr. Chair, I'm speaking very slowly because I think some people might want to vote on this, but I would like to straw poll releasing funds for the 9-line strategic intervention fund in an amount sufficient to effectuate the property purchases and exchanged as discussed.
All right.
Exchanges as discussed.
Any discussion to the straw poll? Okay, that is 6 yeses with Board Member Lopez Chavez absent. Do we have any reports or announcements from the Executive Director? Okay, Vice Chair, do you have any? And I do not, staff.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. If we could pull up our slides. I think we have some for our May updates. We will be quick. We understand you're trying to jump over to the City Council. A couple quick updates. Next slide, please. First, we are thrilled to announce the hiring of Tawny Barker. She started April 9th, which was the day after our last meeting. I think she slipped out of the room, so unfortunately we're not able to publicly. Is she back? Oh, she is hiding. There we go. Yeah, she's talking shop over in the corner. Tawny comes to us from the city of West Jordan, where she previously worked, but beyond that, she has 20-plus years experience in both the public and private sector, as well as nonprofits and running her own firm. I don't want to date her, but her experience also does go back to the 2002 Winter Games, Governor John Huntsman. And then, which seems appropriate for taking a job with the RDA. Last year, she was named the Crisis Communicator of the Year by the Utah Public Information Association. So that prepared her very well for coming to the CRA as well as the city. Next slide, please. Also want to update the board that on May 1st, we returned to the state HTRZ committee and received approval of the Central Station HTRZ. This is the one that is focused on the intermodal hub. This includes a cap of $370 million over the span of 28 years, which would be done in 2 phases, 25 years apiece. It is geared towards affordable housing, structured parking, enhanced residential costs for higher density, as well as infrastructure improvements. Unfortunately, the $370 million is a reduction from what was the original amount of $550 that we asked for. And the biggest reduction here is that the committee pulled out the allocation of funds for enhanced commercial development and some other infrastructure improvements. And so that was a little bit of a disappointment, but we still feel confident that the amount of money is sufficient for the projects that we are planning on proceeding with. We will return with an interlocal between the CRA and the city as one of the last pieces to finalize this. Next slide, please. We also want to give an update to the board on the ballpark mural program. You recall that the CRA partnered with the Arts Council to commission at least 10 murals in the ballpark neighborhood. We have issued, this is hard to say, the call for walls last month, which is out on the street right now. Applications are open until May 15th, so 2 days from now. And the intention is to have murals installed on properties within the ballpark area. So this call would be for properties and business owners to come and essentially say that they are interested in having a mural on their property, and then they will be paired with an artist from the Arts Council's pre-qualified artist pool. Next slide, please. And then we want to say thank you to both the mayor and Chairperson Mono for your participation in the Spark grand opening on May 7th, as well as your participation in the social media video. That was very well received. Thank you. The Spark had its ribbon cutting finally on the former site of the Overnighter Motel. For those of you who may not be familiar, some of your predecessors voted for the agency to purchase that property. And that became an agency project of managing the motel for a while, then putting the property out for development. Bryn Shore Development was selected for it, and the agency has $14.5 million in financing within that project. Similar to the project Bryn Shore did on State Street, this includes a mix of affordable units all the way up to 4 bedrooms, as well as the range of affordability from 20% to 80% AMI. On top of that, they have vouchers that are available for the program, so some of these units are renting for as low as $300 a month. The highlight of the project is also, though, that this is the first satellite location for Neighborhood House for affordable daycare, and Neighborhood House is providing a preference to residents that live within the project. Furthermore, as they are building out the first floor commercial space, they are this close to confirming with Star of India that they're going to be the tenant for the first floor space. So it's an exciting project that checks a lot of boxes for us as an agency in a great neighborhood. So that project is completed. Next slide, please. And then finally, Gallivan is happy to announce the hiring of Jessica Ribbons as the new event manager. She comes to us by way of working previously at Daybreak, where she was a lifestyle director for the past 1.5 years doing events there. And we're really excited to have her enthusiasm, experience, and passion come to Gallivan Center. This is a big step for us, as you know, as we've been staffing up Gallivan. And even though we're already into the event season and reservations, we're confident that we're going to start seeing a lot more activity even towards the end of the season leading into next year. Mr. Chair, members of the board, that's all we have. I'm happy to answer any questions. Otherwise, thank you for the opportunity to be here.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Ballpark property owners, let's get some murals. Anyone else? Okay, I think there is a written briefing. Oh, Ava.
Yes. Danny, can we have a doxy race in Gallivan?
A what?
I want to see a weenies race.
Director Lopez Chavez, that has come up on more than one occasion of me conveying to Lucas, our Gallivan director, of the types of creative events that we want to get back to doing at Gallivan and having more of. So, and we have some staff members who went to that. I don't know if you ended up attending it, but I hear it was crazy.
It's so cute.
So.
It's the cutest thing. Yeah. Yes, we want
We can do the
corgis
corgi race.
racing too.
Board Member Young.
Mine is not about corgis, but it is about something that you're going to be like, oh, here she is again. So do you have any updates related to the RDA property that is near the old DI property right off of Highland and Sugar?
If by near you mean yes, the old DI property?
Yes.
Absolutely. We continue to work with transportation in UTA on what would be the final alignment for the S line. There's a few things we're still working through in terms of the infrastructure, what the alignment would be, and how, more importantly, that would affect the amount of property that we would need to give. So I know we haven't done an update for a while, but it is moving forward still, albeit a little bit slower than we would like to have. So we hope to have it finalized soon.
Totally fine. Thank you for the update on the record. I will say, I know that the community council, when we do decide to move forward with a future plan, they would love to have an update.
Okay, we can
Thank you.
absolutely do that. Thank you.
Okay, with that, I think we will adjourn our meeting and come back for work session. In 10 minutes. All right, thank you.